This story is titled, At Our Anniversary Party, my wife's affair partner posed as a delivery guy, then called her babe in front of me and the kids. My wife's affair partner showed up at our anniversary party pretending to be a delivery guy. He called her babe right in front of me and our kids, just because she wanted to compare us side by side and see if I'd fight for her. I'm 37, and I've been married to my wife, who's 35, for 15 years. We have 2 kids together, a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. Last month, for our wedding anniversary, we decided to keep it simple, just a small celebration at home with the kids and a couple of close friends. I was looking forward to it, hoping for a quiet, meaningful night to celebrate everything we'd built together. Little did I know, my wife had her own secret plans. The evening started off fine. We had a nice dinner, cut the anniversary cake, and I handed her a thoughtful gift I'd spent weeks planning. She seemed happy at first, but as the night went on, I noticed something off about her. She kept glancing at her phone, stepping out of the room more than usual, and there was this nervous energy about her I couldn't quite place. I figured maybe she was planning some kind of surprise for me and tried not to overthink it. Around 8 p.m., the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone else, and we hadn't ordered anything. I figured it might be a neighbor or a mix-up with a delivery. My wife jumped up instantly and said, "I'll get it," in this oddly eager voice. Curious, I followed her to the door, and the kids trailed behind because, well, kids love to see who's at the door. She swung it open, and standing there was a man holding a big bouquet of flowers and a bottle of champagne. He was dressed in a polo shirt with a company logo, like he was delivering for some fancy gift service. I didn't recognize him at all. The guy smiled and said, "Special delivery for the lovely couple. Happy anniversary." At first, I thought it was sweet. Maybe one of our friends had sent us a surprise, or maybe my wife had arranged something romantic. But then it got weird. As he handed her the flowers, he leaned in slightly and said in a low voice, "You look gorgeous tonight, babe." I was standing right behind her and froze. Babe, that's not something a stranger delivering flowers says, especially not with me and our kids standing there. I shot a look at my wife. Her face went red, not the happy, flustered kind of red, but the caught, guilty kind. She let out this awkward little laugh and glanced back at me and the kids. Our daughter's eyes went wide. She definitely heard the word babe. My son looked confused and whispered, "Did he just call Mom babe?" I stepped forward, trying to keep my voice calm. "Excuse me, what did you just say?" I asked the guy, giving him a hard stare. He looked up, like he was noticing me for the first time. Instead of apologizing, he smirked and said, "Oh, I was just making sure I had the right address." The hot MILF at the door matches the description. Yeah, he actually called my wife a hot MILF in front of me, in front of our kids. I felt my blood pressure spike. My daughter blurted out, "You, what?" while my son, thankfully, didn't seem to know what MILF meant yet. My wife jumped in, trying to defuse the situation. She grabbed the champagne from him and said, "Thanks, that'll be all." Her voice was polite, but I could hear the panic under it. She started ushering him back toward the door, practically shoving him out before he could say anything else. I stood there frozen, torn between wanting to rip this guy apart and trying not to lose it in front of my kids. The guy gave a little wave and said, "Enjoy, beautiful. See you around." Then he strolled down the driveway like nothing had happened. I shut the door behind him and turned to my wife. The kids were still in the foyer, so I forced a calm voice and said, "Why don't you two go enjoy some cake in the kitchen? Mom and I need a minute." Our daughter looked like she had 1,000 questions, but she grabbed her brother's hand and led him away. As soon as they were out of earshot, I turned to my wife. "What the hell was that? Do you know that guy?" She kept her back to me, fiddling with the lock like it was the most complicated thing in the world. "It's nothing," she said quickly. "Just some delivery guy. Probably a creep who got too friendly. Let's not let it ruin the evening, okay?" She tried to brush past me, but I blocked her path. "He called you babe. And MILF. That's not normal delivery guy behavior. And how would he even know you're a mom?" I whispered harshly, trying to keep my voice low so the kids wouldn't hear. She crossed her arms and avoided my eyes. "I don't know. Maybe he's just a creep," she muttered. "I didn't invite him, if that's what you're thinking. He probably had the wrong house or something." That made no sense. The guy had the right address. He brought flowers and champagne, wished us a happy anniversary, and acted like he knew her. Why did he say, "See you around," like you're familiar? I pressed. "And why did you look so guilty when you opened the door?" Tears welled up in her eyes, but her tone got sharper. I can't control what some random delivery guy says. I was surprised. Okay, let it go. Please, let's just finish the night. At that point, I was suspicious as hell, but I also knew if I pushed harder right then, it might explode in front of the kids. So I dropped it for the moment. The rest of the evening was painfully awkward. I barely spoke. My wife tried to act normal, and the kids definitely sensed something was off. We wrapped things up early. I didn't touch the champagne. I couldn't stomach the thought of drinking it. When the kids went to bed, I confronted her again. This time, I wasn't holding back. That wasn't a delivery guy, was it? Who is he? She stuck to her story. Said he must have been some overly friendly driver, or maybe he was drunk or high. She accused me of ruining our anniversary by not trusting her. She even started crying, saying I was being paranoid and making a big deal out of nothing. I slept on the couch that night. The next morning, while she was still asleep, I decided I needed answers. I remembered the logo on the guy's shirt. It was a local courier company. So I called them, pretending there'd been a delivery mix-up. After a few transfers, the manager told me they had no record of any deliveries to our address that day. That was all I needed to know. When she woke up, I confronted her again. At first, she tried to say maybe it was a private service. But when I told her I'd called the company, she cracked. She admitted the man wasn't a delivery driver. He was someone from her work. She claimed she invited him to drop off the gifts as a surprise for our anniversary. Said she thought it would be fun. I asked how having some guy call her babe and MILF in front of our kids was supposed to be fun. She started backpedaling hard. Said she didn't expect him to say those things and that he must have misunderstood. It didn't take long for the rest of the truth to come out. I asked if this was the same guy she'd been texting so much lately, the one she kept hiding her phone from me about. She went quiet and then broke down sobbing. That was all the confirmation I needed. She admitted she and this guy, let's call him Jason, had developed feelings for each other over the past few months at work. She swore it wasn't physical yet, but they'd been texting and calling constantly outside of work. I asked her why in the world she invited him to our anniversary party of all things. Her answer? She wanted to see us both in the same room to compare. She wanted to see if her feelings for him were real, or just some fantasy, by putting him next to me and the kids. She said part of her hoped I'd get jealous and fight for her. That broke me. My wife had basically turned our anniversary into some sick competition between me and her affair partner. I told her I was done. There was nothing left to fight for if she didn't already know she wanted her family. She begged me not to leave, sobbing and saying she loved me and the kids. I didn't care. I told her if Jason was so wonderful, she could have him. I packed a bag, took the kids to my brother's place, and told them calmly that mom and dad needed space for a while. I didn't badmouth her, but my daughter's smart. I think she figured out something was wrong. The next business day, I filed for divorce. I didn't wait to cool off. Honestly, this wasn't some heat-of-the-moment reaction I'd look back on and regret. No, this was betrayal on a level I never imagined my wife capable of, and it felt crystal clear to me that there was no coming back from it. Now though, some people in my life are saying I'm moving too fast. They think I should have tried marriage counseling or, at the very least, given it some time to see if trust could be rebuilt. Even my own mother, who has always adored my wife, was shocked when I told her. She said she understood why I was hurt, but reminded me that marriage is for better or worse. Her words stuck with me. Maybe it was just an emotional fling. Therapy might help you work through this. A few mutual friends also reached out, surprised I filed so quickly. One even asked, "Are you sure you're not overreacting?" Maybe it was just an anniversary prank gone wrong. That one nearly made me snap because it echoed the exact excuse my wife's been feeding people. She's been telling everyone this was all some big misunderstanding. But from where I'm standing, there's no misunderstanding. None. So here I am, paperwork filed, staying at my brother's house for now with the kids, trying to keep a brave face for them while I figure out what's next. My wife, or should I say soon-to-be ex-wife, has been blowing up my phone nonstop. One minute she's sobbing and apologizing. The next, she's furious, accusing me of giving up on the family too easily. It's this emotional roller coaster of manipulation, and I'm having none of it. I've barely responded, except when it's about the kids or logistics. For anything else, I told her to speak to my lawyer. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I'm doing my best to stay civil for the sake of our children. People keep asking, why not try counseling? Why not give her another chance? And honestly, because she made the choice to invite her affair partner into our home, into our lives on the night of our anniversary. That's not a mistake. That's a deliberate, calculated betrayal. So, Reddit. ATA for walking away instantly and not giving my wife a second chance after she literally brought her affair partner to our anniversary party so she could compare us? First off, I want to thank everyone for the overwhelming support and clarity in your comments. Almost every reply confirmed what I already felt deep down. I'm not the asshole here. Reading all your perspectives really solidified my decision. It's been about 2 weeks since I posted, and let me tell you, it's been a ride. Unfortunately, my wife, or SBX, soon to be X, as I've started calling her, has been busy doing damage control in the most dishonest way possible. She's been spinning this narrative to anyone who will listen, saying I misunderstood what happened that night. According to her revisionist version, the man at the door was just a confused delivery driver who came to the wrong house. She claims he made an awkward, flirty comment, and apparently, I blew up and filed for divorce over nothing. I found out she was spreading this story when her mom, my mother-in-law, called me. She sounded worried and a little accusatory, asking why I'd break up the family over what she called a misunderstanding with a delivery guy. I was stunned, so I calmly asked her what, exactly, my wife had told her. That's when I got the full fake story. This random delivery man supposedly came to our house, got the address wrong, and made some offhand joke like, "Oops, sorry babe, wrong house." And according to my wife, I misheard, overreacted, and decided to torch 15 years of marriage. She completely left out the part where she knew the guy, that she invited him. And she certainly didn't mention him calling her babe and a hot MILF in front of me and the kids. Once I told my mother-in-law the truth, every detail, she went silent. Then she said quietly, "I'm so sorry." I didn't know. It felt like a role reversal, her apologizing for her daughter's behavior. I felt bad for her, but also furious my wife had put everyone in this position. Apparently, my wife's been telling the same fake story to some of our mutual friends. 2 of them, people we've known for years, invited me for coffee and gently suggested I might be overreacting. They echoed my wife's lies, saying maybe it was just a poorly executed surprise or a prank gone wrong. I had to set them straight too. Without getting into all the sordid details, I made it very clear. Asterisk she cheated. Asterisk she invited her affair partner to our home. Asterisk there was no misunderstanding. It blows my mind how she's trying to paint me as some irrational, jealous husband who tossed our marriage over a misheard word. She's gaslighting everyone around her. The worst part? She even tried feeding our kids the same BS. My 13-year-old daughter wasn't having it. My wife tried telling her the man at the door was just a silly delivery guy who got the wrong house. But my daughter shut her down, saying, "Mom, do you think I'm stupid? Delivery guys don't call people hot MILF when they're lost." I wasn't there for that exchange, but my daughter told me about it later, and I hugged her so tight. I told her I was proud of her for trusting her gut. My 10-year-old son is still pretty shielded from all this. We've explained things in simple terms, that mom hurt dad, and we're trying to work things out for the family's sake. He doesn't need the details right now. At the moment, I'm living at our house with the kids. My wife moved out to stay with a coworker friend of hers. We're doing this awkward, informal week-on/week-off arrangement until the lawyers finalize custody. She was furious when she got served divorce papers. First, she bombarded me with angry texts, accusing me of giving up too easily. Then she shifted to sobbing and begging me to reconsider. But the truth is, the time for talking was the night of our anniversary, before she pulled the stunt. Now, I'm only speaking to her about the kids and legal stuff. It's been rough, I won't lie. The anger and adrenaline have faded, and what's left is this heavy sadness and disbelief that this is where our marriage ended up. But whenever I start to wonder, was I too hasty? I replay that scene at the door in my head, and I remind myself of the lies she's still telling. If she were truly sorry, she wouldn't be rewriting history. She wouldn't be trying to make me out as some unhinged husband. And then, just a few days ago, I got the proof I needed. I ran into Jason, the affair partner. It was part chance, part me needing closure. I was out grabbing drinks with a couple of close friends. And there he was, shooting pool in the corner like nothing had happened. My heart was pounding. I quietly pointed him out to my friends. One of them immediately stood up like he was ready to knock Jason's teeth out. But I stopped him. The last thing I needed was a bar fight. I wanted answers, not a mugshot. Instead, I pulled out my phone, opened a voice recording app, call me paranoid, but I wasn't about to have another lie spun, and walked over calmly, man to man. When Jason saw me approaching, recognition flashed across his face. I could see a flicker of "oh shit" in Jason's eyes the moment he spotted me. To his credit, he didn't bolt or try to look busy. He just stood there, pool cue in hand, like a guy caught mid-lie but too tired to keep running. "Got a minute?" I asked, keeping my tone calm and level. "I think we should talk." His friends stiffened. A couple of them glanced at me like they half expected me to swing. But I didn't raise my voice, didn't make any sudden moves. Jason gave a hesitant nod and followed me to a quieter corner of the bar. "Look, man," he started. "Hands up a little. I don't want any trouble." "I don't either," I said. "I'm not here to fight you. I just want the truth. That's it. Be straight with me." Whether it was the beers in his system or the weight of this whole mess finally catching up with him, Jason let out a breath and nodded. And then, just like that, he opened up. And man, did he ever confirm everything. I had my phone recording in my pocket. Call it paranoia, call it self-preservation. Whatever you call it, I'm glad I hit record. He admitted it all. Said my wife had invited him to our house that night. She told him it was a casual open house-style anniversary party and encouraged him to stop by. So her whole story about him being some random lost delivery guy? Pure, unfiltered bullshit. Jason looked me dead in the eye and said, "I didn't realize you were totally in the dark. She told me you guys were basically done, like you were separated or she was about to leave. I figured you knew she had someone new. I thought maybe you two had, an arrangement or something." An arrangement? I almost laughed. One of those bitter, hollow laughs you let out when you're too angry to even react properly. Jason went on. He said my wife told him she was walking away from her marriage, that I didn't appreciate her, and that she deserved better. Those were his words, not mine. And hearing them made my stomach twist. Not only had she been cheating, she'd been running my name through the mud to justify it. He admitted that calling her babe and a hot MILF in front of my kids was an impulsive, boneheaded move. Said he didn't know they'd be right there and apologized for it. But the part that hit hardest? I asked him point blank. Just so I'm 100% clear. She invited you there expecting I'd see you, and she told you she was ending our marriage. Jason nodded. Yeah. She said she wanted me there because she was going to talk to you afterward and end it. She thought having me around, even just briefly, would. I don't know. Give her confidence or something. She said you two were basically over. I'm sorry, man. That I'm sorry, man came with a helpless little shrug, like he knew there was nothing he could say to make it right. And honestly, what could he say? Weirdly, I didn't feel like punching him. I didn't feel like screaming. What I felt was this heavy mix of rage, relief, and sadness. Relief because I finally had confirmation I wasn't crazy. Rage because of how far my wife went to deceive me. And sadness because this was the final nail in the coffin of a marriage I thought I could trust. Thanks for being honest, I said quietly. I'm not gonna lie, I hate what you did with my wife. But she's the one who owed me loyalty, not you. At least you're owning up to it now. Jason scratched the back of his head and muttered something about feeling bad for how it all went down. He said he was shocked when he heard I'd filed for divorce so quickly because my wife had made it sound like I was some neglectful, cold husband. The whole conversation lasted maybe 10, 15 minutes. When I walked back to my friends, I still had the recorder running. I stopped it and played back the key parts for them. They were stunned. One friend gave me a tight bro hug and said, "At least you've got the truth now, even if it sucks." I made multiple copies of the recording and sent it straight to my lawyer. I even transcribed the crucial bits. Later, I played it for my in-laws, keeping the language clean for their sake. They were devastated. My mother-in-law cried. Both apologized for their daughter's actions and assured me they'd stay in the kids' lives no matter what. And you know what? I'm grateful for that. They're good people. None of this is their fault. As for my soon-to-be ex, I haven't told her about the recording yet. She's still clinging to her confused delivery guy fairy tale and avoiding any real conversation apart from begging me to meet up or reconsider. But I'm not entertaining that anymore. Right now, my focus is on my kids and getting through this divorce.